Good afternoon and welcome back to College Football on Tap, brought to you by the On Tap Sportsnet. I am Chris White, joined alongside with Bruno Ogier. Bruno, how you feeling? How's your week?
It was long. Next week's going to be longer. Let's not talk about that, though. How about yourself?
It's honestly, I've had a pretty rough go at things since Thanksgiving. I've been sick twice. Both the kids have had their fair share. Bailey was sick for a day or two. It's just been a mess. I missed a day of work, so I got a short paycheck coming up, and things aren't great over here, but still breathing.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I know that you've been sick a few times, but yeah, I know it's been going around with everybody. Everybody's been sick quite a few times. I think that even at work this week, we had probably like 3 people out with COVID, and I'm,
Yeah, Jackson's developmental therapist had to cancel yesterday because I don't know if it was her or just someone in her household, but they had COVID. And I was like, COVID, huh? That's weird. You don't hear about that too much anymore.
I think that's been going around again, but I don't even want to think about that stuff again. I mean, I was sick like a month ago or so, and I think I might have had it, but it was like a very light version, but I didn't want to test myself, and I didn't want to miss any days of work. And
Right. You have that obligation to tell them if you have it, and then you can't go to work. And
oh, no, I'm indicting myself.
I've gotten it twice since like it first happened in 2020, and both times I felt like $1,000,000. I remember Dominic was living with me at the time. I want to say for the first time I had it, and we drank like, I don't know, a case of beer and like half of fifth of Jack between the two of us in just one night while we're both, out with COVID.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's how it was, especially when everybody first got it. But anyway, we'll get into the college football talk here. Enough about that depressing ass shit.
I forget we do that.
We always get into our pop culture talks, and this is more not that angle. But yeah, so transfer portal's going wild. Absolutely crazy start to the year with the transfer portal. Like, I mean, everybody's going left and right. People are competing. There's a bunch of freaking visits this weekend. A bunch of guys already committing with obviously Riley Leonard committing to Notre Dame over Ohio State. Take that, Buckeyes. That was the one that we were hoping for. Arguably the number one QB prospect to enter the portal, but there's a lot out there. Cam Ward's out there. He's visiting a couple of schools this weekend.
I do believe he is visiting Ohio State, right?
I do not. I would have to look it up really quick. I forget exactly which schools it was that they said that he was going, but I'm sure that I think there was 5 schools in on it, so that sounds about right. Damn, I had it right here a little bit ago, but now it's gone. Oh well. But yeah, you're looking at these guys are going really quick. It looks like Kyle McCord might be heading to Miami, is what I was hearing last.
I thought he had committed to Syracuse. Was that yesterday or the day before I saw that?
I would have missed that then because I have not seen that one come across, and that's not even in the little group. I'd have to confirm with that. Do you got any sources on this?
I think Fat Zach.
Oh, then I don't believe you.
Let me see.
Says that he was visiting, but
was it just a visit?
Yeah, he's not going to Syracuse. He's just visiting Syracuse. Well, I would have seen that one come up because I have a list of everybody who's committed, and I'm like, and this is brand new from today. So you kind of shocked me there for a minute. So thanks for the lie.
Fat Zach, if you're watching, drop it in the comments. I could have swore it was you who told me about
making me look like I didn't do any freaking research. Jesus.
Did you?
Yeah, I that's why I have notes.
Okay.
got to make sure.
College over here took notes.
Teleprompter right here to tell me what's going on. But yes, pretty interesting thing with Notre Dame landing Riley Leonard. Just something to look forward to for next season already. Is the first game of the season Notre Dame plays Texas A&M, where Mike Elko is now the head coach. So Riley Leonard's coach at Duke. Notre Dame also got one of Riley Leonard's offensive linemen to join the team this week. Looks like Notre Dame is actually crushing the transfer portal right now. But I am hearing that Colorado is going absolutely nuts in the transfer portal and is winning it right now.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but their offensive line is disgusting. Like they have 3, I want to say top 15 interior linemen, 3 top 10 tackles. Like what are you going to do with these guys?
And that was the thing that I was looking at with their quarterback coming back next year. It's Sadir Sanders was getting crushed. He was hurt a lot at the end of the season. I
think he led the league in sacks, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was always under pressure, and it was literally just because that offensive line was so inept. And now all of a sudden he's going to have probably one of the best offensive lines in the country. I did see some other notes off of some other Twitter sites and stuff saying that they might be even ranked in the top 25 to start the season. That would be a little extreme for me just to start. I mean, they did still only win 3 games this year, or 4 games maybe.
Yeah, I don't care how well you do in the offseason. You can't put a 4-8 team in the top 25.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with an actual offensive line, because there was a lot of talk that he might go to the NFL and whatnot. That's not just to not get killed anymore in that backfield.
Right.
But
boom, drafted to the Bears.
Yeah. Well, the Bears' offensive line has been looking better, but
looking better from shit ain't much better.
It's looking a lot better. They're missing a center, but it's good to see that he'll get an offensive line next year. I think it was 5 recruits that were 4-star or better. I mean, at offensive line alone, that's going to be absolutely insane. Just what a jump that'll be, and it's really good he focuses on that.
I don't know anybody on his staff besides for Neon Dion himself, but congratulations to him. Great job recruiting and doing what you're doing to nail down these linemen as a former defensive back.
Yeah.
You have nothing to offer these kids. They just want to play for you because of obviously who you are, but also has to speak volume about him, about who he is as a person. Like, I can imagine he takes these home visits and whatnot pretty serious.
Oh yeah, you saw it with the stuff with Travis Hunter earlier this year when Travis Hunter wanted to play and he told him, no, you need to take care of your health first, and then ended the text message with "I love you." So I mean, he cares about the kids and stuff in this. I mean, does all the right things, and a lot of these kids want to go play at Colorado as their transfer portal team. So one thing I did want to kind of like hit on with the transfer portal though is just, I knew that it was going to affect things. And I know that we've had this little switch from a lot of these players that are jumping early just to not get hurt in a bowl game before they go to their NFL careers. And that started to suck because we're losing a lot of players. Like even like for us Notre Dame fans, we're not going to get to see Sam Hartman, which was surprising to me just because I feel like he needs the game time. But
I think he's only hurting himself by sitting out.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one for him, but like I understand Audric Estime. He doesn't need anymore. He is one.
Yeah, PFF rated him the top running back. Like his draft stock is about as high as it's going to get. There's nothing. He could go out in that bowl game, score 5 touchdowns, and it ain't going to move him up any more than he already is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's that affected it one way, but now the transfer portal, it's literally making it, what are we going to be watching out here in a lot of these bowl games this year? Because we really don't know. I mean, all these teams are on backup quarterbacks. So you really don't know if these guys could handle playing at this level yet.
I was talking to my buddy at work, the Ohio State fan, and I was like, man, I would kill to watch Missouri and Ohio State go at it for 4 quarters during the regular season.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like. It's hard to really get pumped up about it when you don't know. Like apparently, Ubake or whatever the hell his name is,
Yeah,
Harrison, Henderson, all plan on playing.
yeah.
I don't know about Cody Schrader. I don't know about Brady Cook for Missouri, but
I would think that they're playing because I don't know what I think Brady Cook was still only a junior. He could probably use another year of seasoning. And Schrader was also only a sophomore, I believe. So
I thought he was a junior as well.
yeah, I don't think he's going to the NFL right now. It's not. I don't think it's the correct time just because he was a standout this year. I think Missouri should have some starters, and this is a big game for that university. They don't get to play in a lot of New Year's Six bowl games, and most of the New Year's Six teams, I believe, are staying intact. So at least
what's the name of the coach over at Missouri? Is it like Eli Drinkwitz or something like that?
I do not recall right now.
Oh, yeah, it's Eli Drinkwitz. I was reading about him. I don't know if it was a blog or like something from the Athletic or like a legitimate article, but that guy has like, I don't want to like, Belichick him or anything, but that dude has a mind literally designed for football. Like it's fascinating just like reading some of the stuff he talks about and like how he puts shit together. It's really interesting stuff. He just has a great football mind.
Intriguing. If you got some sources or like a little pamphlet for me to read.
I have a brochure I picked up at the airport.
What's up, Ross? What's up, Zach Nat? Yeah, I know I'm doing some weird stuff with my face. I'm looking kind of Amish, and then I don't know, I might shave the edges a little bit. I'm trying to go for that blue collar rugged look.
You should do. You know what I've always liked? You should do the Triple H, the mutton chops into the mustache.
Oh, yeah,
that's a fucking look, man.
See, I had to shave the mustache. Like that had to go because I didn't want to shave my full beard. I had to shave the mustache.
Just the stash?
No, because my allergies, man. Like temperature, it's 20 degrees one day, it's 40 degrees the other day. On 40-degree day, I'm sneezing like crazy, and my eyes are all watery. I feel like death. I mean, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Fat Zach, while we got you here, did you were you the one that told me that McCord committed to Syracuse, or was it somebody else?
Calling you out live.
I'm not calling him out. It's the question. I'm curious.
Calling him out live.
It could have been someone else.
Yeah, it was him.
Okay, so it was him. Did he commit?
No,
or
he
was
did
it
not
just a
commit.
visit?
We already.
Did Bruno get his facts wrong? Jason told that's hearsay. Come on now. Jason is not a source.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, see, you got to do a little bit more research of your own there, buddy. Oh man, that is good. But yeah, there's sorry, that's good.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's just disappointing to kind of see this on. I don't like that college football like kind of is heading in the direction that it is with these bowl games, but at the same point, there's 43 of them. It's a big money grab at this point. Like I was fine with like 28 back in the day. I don't need to see 43 of them. They're struggling to get 6-6 teams in there. I think Minnesota's playing and they're 5-7. I think they play Central Michigan. Like
yeah, James Madison obviously was let in. But
yeah, and so was Jacksonville State, who's playing tomorrow. So team to look
playing Louisiana.
Yeah, and it's a game to look out for just because Jacksonville State getting this first time opportunity. They're going to come out to play. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do in a bowl game. It's a big deal to them. So that's something that I will be looking forward to watching tomorrow just because it's one of those games that we know that the teams that are on the field, it makes a difference too, which is cool to see. And that's hard to come by this time of year now.
Yes. I have 2 questions.
Sure.
Ross, if you're still with us, where's our pizza?
Oh yeah.
And 2, because they still let Minnesota in, does that mean I'm the solo winner now? Or did I still have to get it right for the game?
You had to get it right. You can't just
Kind of
be
bullshit. 21 of my 22 teams made it, but that's cool.
well, if I get this PTO approved on January 8th for the national championship game, and if you're gonna stay up for it, I'll come over and we could have Ross order us our pizza.
I fucks with it.
But yeah, we had Tyler Van Dyke, the quarterback for Miami, go over to Wisconsin. That's an interesting move. Miami's kind of one of those game manager schools that that's literally what they do. They kind of game manage. Wisconsin's the exact same thing, is what I'm trying to say. We got a Sloan watch.
yeah, we do. It seems like a very lateral move. Like, I understand wanting to play in the Big Ten, but
especially now.
Yeah, especially now. But I don't know. I feel like the chance for success is higher at Miami. But,
yeah.
I mean, I'm also not up to date on what Miami's doing. So they might be bringing in a 5-star, or the kid who sat behind them last year might have a 50-50 shot at the job, and Van Dyke wants nothing to do with it.
I mean, I think it could just be more or less like getting a different look. Well, Wisconsin's not a bad football school. They just haven't had it in the recent years. I mean, most of our lives, Wisconsin's been a top tier Big Ten
solid school.
It's hard now with the way that there's 18 teams in the freaking conference right now. So it's just kind of hard to, man, I'm like seeing something on my face. I'm like, is it a bug? But yeah, it's hard to see them now the way that they've played, but they could be in need of a quarterback. That's one thing that Wisconsin doesn't seem to have anymore, is have a quarterback that can produce at all. Van Dyke's been able to do that at Miami, and I think that's a difference maker for Wisconsin as well, and what could really change their offense. But it will be hard to compete with these other schools like Oregon coming in. Like, they put up points no matter who their quarterback is. And you got USC, who's going to put up points no matter how bad their defense is. So it's just all around a tough move for them. But it is playing in the Big Ten, where there's going to be a lot more exposure than there is in the ACC currently, just because as of next year, it's the Big Ten and the SEC. And if you're not one of those two,
yeah, who gives a shit?
It's not like a Power 5 anymore. It's not a Power 4. It's pretty much the Big Two.
Yeah, I mean, I never really, personally, I never really cared what I was watching in terms of conference. Like, when I scroll through the TV, or however many TVs I have going, I'm not like, all right, 3 p.m., got to watch SEC. It's like, oh, this is a better game. I'm going to put this one on. One thing, while we're on the topic of Big Ten, it's another story for another time. But if you haven't already, take a look at Michigan's schedule next year.
Yeah, I think I actually saw it. I scrolled across it for some reason today.
Strength of schedule. We will have zero excuses to call them out on anything if they could go undefeated again, because it is not pretty.
Just in time for Jim Harbaugh to get his way out of town.
He probably seeing this and he's like, you know what? Maybe it is time to go back to the NFL.
Yeah, that's our schedule. Oof, I don't know.
Like, even their like easy layup games are like Fresno State and like pretty decent teams. Like, you know, guys who spent 3 or 4 weeks in the top 25.
Yeah, definitely. Who else do we got that's in this transfer portal really quick? That we got DJ, your guy, Ooga Booga Booga, as you like to say, or as I like to say, Ugalele. He's visiting Florida State this weekend. That could be an interesting move considering what Florida State was able to do this year. Is Travis Hunter I guess, not going to be able to play next season as well, or is he planning to go to the NFL still? Or
This was only a sophomore season. As far as I'm aware. Hey, Jax.
so that's really interesting that he would be considering going to Florida State then. So that's something to definitely look out for.
Yeah, that would, as a sophomore, that would make him sit out a year, I believe. But I do believe I read something. I read something that the NCAA was going to. Jesus, kid, you're making so much noise. That they are going to kind of stop the non-grad transfer rule.
That would be very interesting if they did that. I do agree with it. I mean, they in general are going to have to put some more regulation on this transfer portal. That's literally what has to happen. There's got to be change to this because, I mean, I literally could sit here and go through this whole entire list of guys right here that are transferring, where they're visiting to. I mean, there's a billion of them. I'm just trying to highlight the bigger ones that are out there right now, the bigger names that we haven't already hit spots on. It's just, that's what it is. It's absolutely crazy to see how many people have already put their names in, how many quarterbacks have put their names in. Like, it's pretty much, if you are a quarterback, you're either going to the NFL or you're transferring to another school. Nobody expected Dylan Gabriel to transfer, and now he's going to Oregon. I mean, I don't see why the only other reason why you would see DJ transfer is because obviously Oregon State
doesn't want to play in the Pac-2.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally all there is to him. But there's all these other players that are just like, why are you transferring from here to here to here? And it doesn't really make much sense in terms of the difference in terms of the schools that they're going to when they're already in starting positions. It's absolutely just crazy to see how much this has changed the game and not allowed these bowl games to be as exciting. I mean, I guess they're exciting. You're going to see a bunch of sophomores and freshmen, but it's not the players that we've watched all season long.
Yeah, I mean, the Dylan Gabriel news was pretty, I guess, shocking because they're going SEC.
Yeah. The life of being a dad right now, trying to stream.
Fucking told you, man. I was texting you. These kids are not going to nap today.
Well, why don't you teach Jax to rock Sloan so that way you're able to concentrate on this? I mean, I think that's something that you should be able to take in for the next week or so, and Jax will be like, yeah, I can rock her.
Jackson is almost 3 and still won't poop on the potty. I don't think he's going to be taking care of his sister.
Well, what the heck are you doing, Dad? So
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I see that. But yeah, we still got Cam Ward out in the portal. There's a lot of guys that are already making their decisions. They're already making their choices of where they want to go. And we got a lot of guys that are taking their time, and it'll be within the next week or two that we're going to start seeing more and more people go to wherever else they want to go to. But it's pretty much, it seems like a lot of these guys are trying to get into the Big Ten or the SEC for the most part. And that's the only thing I can really see outside of these quarterbacks that, I mean, we're seeing some demote down to like East Carolina. I forget who it was, Zach Nat's quarterback.
Yeah, the Michigan State former QB, Caden Hauser.
Yeah, Caden Hauser. They lost another quarterback too that transferred, but I know that they were getting another guy in, but they had someone else transferred today that I've never heard of, like Noah Kim or something. Ross calling you out, saying amateur hour over there, just because, you know, he's done this tons of times with Wesley and hasn't
Try my darndest. Jackson's usually sleeping, and as long as I change Sloan before the show and just like have a bottle ready, it's smooth. But she's just I don't know. She's just laying there staring at me today.
Well, at least
Chill the hell out, man.
At least she's not crying too much. With
Noah
that,
Kim to Coastal Carolina. He just wants to play in that cool ass field.
that color, that teal color is gross. I really don't like that teal color.
It's better than fucking Boise State. And who has the gray field?
Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, fuck those guys too.
Yeah,
The teal field's awesome.
I'm not really a big fan of the teal field. I like that red field that
I don't know who has it, but I know who you're talking about. I don't mind it myself.
Yeah, I forget.
None of them really bother me.
I like
it's
the
basketball courts that bug the shit out of me. Seeing those in different colors just pisses me off. I don't care how important the game is. I will instantly turn it off. Like, I'm going to get a headache watching this shit.
Yeah, completely understand. I agree. Outside of that, I will continue as each show that we do, like going over who's making moves in the transfer portal. Those are just a few big ones that are pointed out from today. We could get into our bowl games now a little bit. First off, those people.
Well, really quick. I wanted to throw back out there, circling back on the Kyle McCord thing. Did you hear like the drama behind him transferring with his father?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
This is, word to mouth. Obviously, none of us were in the room, but he kind of more or less motherfucked Ryan Day, and he's like, he just brought you to an 11-1 season. You're going to a good bowl game, and he doesn't 100% have the starting job for next year.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know. I mean, it's Ohio State. You probably got 2 5-star quarterbacks in the room behind him.
Yeah.
No job is safe. I mean, unless you're coming back for a 5th season, I think that's probably about the only time a coach will tell you this is guaranteed your spot, because otherwise you would transfer or go to the draft.
Or you're Caleb Williams,
Or that.
But yeah, that's absolutely wild that if that's a true story.
And like, it's the audacity too. Like, you're not fucking Caleb Williams or Bo Nix or Michael Penix out there. Like, it's Kyle fucking McCord. Like, get off your high horse, dude. This guy could be bagging groceries in a year.
You lost to Michigan, so there you go. You got to make sure that you beat Michigan, and that's the rule at Ohio State. If you don't beat Michigan, your job's not safe. And that's
I was having this debate with my buddy at work today. Like, does beating Michigan really even matter anymore? Because if you go 1-11 for the next however many years, you're gonna get into the playoff with it being 12 teams. Being Ohio State with a 1-loss record,
11-1 is what you want to go, not 1-11. That would be bad.
that backwards. See, I'm doing too much shit over here. Rocking a baby, watching this one.
It's an automatic.
1-11 Ohio State. Welcome to the college football playoff over Florida State.
If you beat Michigan, you're in. That's it. Doesn't matter if you lose. Everyone
go winless up until the last week of the year and just fucking rout Michigan.
There it is. Ross Lang has no Eastern Washington. That's the school that has the red field. And then Zach Nat says McCord sucks. He doesn't put his cart back after grocery shopping. Damn, dude, that's pretty savage. That's
worst kinds of people.
One thing I wanted to do before we got into the bowl games a little bit here, and the small storylines that we got with a lot of these guys transferring out, not a lot of quarterbacks not playing. We will be doing, I'm going to send it out to the On Tap group today, and then whatever friends and family and whoever else may have picked us up along the line are watching. We're going to send out a little college football bowl pick'em. We'll put it onto our Twitter page. We'll put it onto my Facebook page and whatnot, and we'll get everybody involved. So tomorrow's the start of the bowl season, 43 games. We'll have everybody pick a winner. And we'll end up kind of breaking it down as we go throughout the show on who the winner of it all is. I don't know if we're able to do any wagering and stuff. I'd have to ask the powers that be if we're able to talk about like maybe a $10 wager, maybe a $20 wager with half of it going to a charity or something. Who knows? But we're trying to throw this together really quick. Just something that popped in my head as I was making all my picks earlier this morning. So take a look out for that. We'll post on our Twitter. I'll make the page after this episode, and anybody who's interested, just let me know and we'll get it out to you.
Yeah, and if we can't do a wager or nothing like that, just internet rules, we could always, out of mine and Bruno's pockets, you grab something from the On Tap shop.
Yeah,
we'll cover it.
We'll do a prize or something if we can't do any type of wagering or something like that. But with that, tomorrow we got 7 games to start the bowl season, and it's not the best slate in the world, but they're games and they're interesting. At least some of them.
There's 2 games that caught my interest right away. Unfortunately, they kind of run into each other, but I'm going to keep an eye out for those. The first one I wanted to talk about was the Cure Bowl, Miami, Ohio, and Appalachian State. I did not know until you just told me off camera that Miami, Ohio is down to their 3rd-string quarterback.
Yeah, so Brett Gabbert got injured earlier in the year in a game against Toledo, the one that they lost before they went to the MAC championship and beat Toledo with the 2nd-string quarterback. But now the 2nd-string quarterback has also entered the transfer portal. So, like I said, the transfer portal is kind of making things tough to even analyze a little bit here, just because it's everybody's first time getting to play. But so they're on a 3rd-string quarterback. The one thing that is kind of good about this, though, in the Cure Bowl is Miami, Ohio's special teams and defense is what's carried them all season long. So it might not matter too much who the quarterback is, and that's kind of been their MO, and that's kind of what MAC football is in a lot of the ways. A lot of the good NIU teams, they were carried by offense, but the years after they lost those quarterbacks, they had good defenses that really helped them out. I know a couple of years ago they had, I believe his name was Sutton Smith, and he was absolutely a wrecking machine and might have kind of saved Coach Thomas Hammock's job a little bit in terms of my opinion, in terms of me not wanting to run him out of town really quick.
I don't know if it was Miami, Ohio, or just plain old Ohio, but I thought that I read somewhere they had a pretty significant transfer. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Ohio, are they in your precious MAC?
Yeah, Ohio is also a MAC school.
Did they win the MAC?
Miami, Ohio won the MAC.
Okay. See, there's too many Miami of Ohio, regular Ohio. Shit's confusing.
Yeah, no. Ohio's normally one of the top of the line schools, and NIU's dominated the conference forever, but Ohio's probably been the 2nd best school in terms of being there, because Toledo's always really good, but they've always been taken down by NIU for the most part. Sorry,
hold them down.
That's their biggest rival as well, so I had to kind of throw that in there. But
I never followed up with you. I think it was the episode when all 3 of us were on with Ross. How did that high school coach that used to coach at Northern, how did he do in the playoffs?
Mount Carmel won the championship.
Did they? You think there's any chance he heads back, or are you content with your coach at Northern this year?
With Thomas Hammock getting the team to a bowl game, because when me and Ross were calling for his head, we thought that they were going to lose that game because they were playing a 1-10 team at that time.
Akron or something?
Were playing? Akron. And Ross and I were calling for his head because they were losing that game. And so we were all on the text message like, what the hell are they doing? Like, they have to win this game to go to a bowl game, and they're literally going to lose the fucking Akron. Like, we were losing our minds. So they ended up pulling that game out, obviously, and now we're heading to a bowl game. So I think that's we got another year of Jordan Lynch at Mount Carmel and another year of Thomas Hammock coming at least. So we'll see what he could do next year, because next year will be the first year that they don't have Zach Nat's boy Rocky Lombardi. So
yeah, I remember watching that Northern who was it? Northern BC game.
Boston College.
And I was like, damn, they're, they got a little solid squad going on. They, a little scaries at the end of the fourth, but they toughed it out. And then I was like, I'll turn it on the week later. I'm like, oh, they're losing to Southern Illinois and Carbondale. What is this? And I just fucking turned it off. No offense, but
I gotcha.
It was a tough watch.
Parlay, so there you go.
You what now?
Parlay. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah. Love that shit.
ESPN for the 10 a.m. game, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. We have 500 Georgia Southern going against regular old Ohio at 9:30.
Yeah. So
normal Ohio.
I think I'm kind of just looking at this. I don't want to go against Ohio here by any means, but just because they're a MAC school, Georgia Southern's always been tough. They're ever since they kind of made that jump over to the big time boys. Georgia Southern's been a tough school to take down, and I've kind of followed along with them and Georgia State this year, and just that whole little conference. The first time I've actually honestly noticed them, just kind of doing college football on tap. I kind of took more of a look at the little guys this year and started to notice, like, oh, Georgia Southern's a school. I never heard of them before, and I know that they've always been like a 10-2 type team, an 11-1 type team, since they've been in that conference, and I kind of lean that they're going to go out there and take this game. On nothing at all except for just pure thinking, like, Georgia Southern's been really good in the past, and they're from the South, and Southern boys, and farm.
Southern boys are different. Farm boys are different.
Yeah.
Can you imagine waking up at like 6 a.m.? You look out your window and you just see a dude like fucking curling like bales of hay.
That's literally what I think of when I think of like farm boys, and I'm like, man, these farm boys, like, they've been chasing pigs at like 5 a.m. and shit. Like, fucking could be cold as shit out, and they're still having to go chase them damn pigs. Like, it's crazy.
I like Ohio, but what I was gonna bring up earlier, I let it fall back to now. As far as like your betting aspect, or like your pick 'em for the ESPN pool, whatever you call it, with all these transfers, these 11-2 against an 8-5 team.
Yeah,
that really don't mean shit for a lot of these teams because so many players are declaring and transferring.
Yeah, that's why it's like there's certain teams like Jacksonville State who's playing tomorrow, and New Orleans Bowl against Louisiana. It's this being their first time that they're being able to play in a bowl game. This is a school that means something to too, and that's why it's going to be exciting to watch them. And I'm going to be all over Jacksonville State. There's not going to be much like knowledgeable betting until we get into the bigger bowl games, just because there's not much to go off of. Like, there's too much transfer. There's too much. Like, we haven't seen any of these guys play.
This is Jacksonville State's first bowl game.
Yeah, it's the first time they've been allowed to, because they had the same rule that James Madison had, where they're in their second year since they joined FBS, and they have to wait 3 years before they're bowl eligible or whatever. But the second year, the rule is if there's not enough 6-6 teams,
right,
kind of thing.
So that's Jacksonville, Florida, I assume.
Yeah.
Man, I hope they travel. That would be pretty awesome. You already kind of have an edge there. You're a 750 team going up against a 500.
Yeah.
And, first year eligible, you can't imagine anybody's going to be sitting this out or holding their transfer until after the bowl game.
Yeah, it's just that I see what you're saying. It's basically a home game for Louisiana. So it's just kind of, that's tough.
Yeah. Unfortunate bowl picking. There ain't nothing you could do about that.
I noticed they did that a lot, because they did the same thing with New Mexico State. New Mexico State's playing tomorrow as well, and they're playing in the
New Mexico Bowl.
New Mexico Bowl against Fresno State. Well, Fresno's right there too, but
Yeah, I mean,
technically a home
Fresno
game.
State's a good squad.
Yeah, I mean, but it's technically right there, and like I know they used to do that every year because it used to be like a family tradition, like kind of always watching the Christmas Story on Christmas Eve, and there would always be the Hawaii Bowl then, and that would be your football fix for today. Now this year it's an NFL Sunday, so we're getting NFL all day. But you'd always get that football fix at the end of the day on a day where it's pretty much was always taken over by the NBA, and it would be the Hawaii Bowl, and the Hawaii Warriors would always be in the freaking Hawaii Bowl. Why was it always Hawaii? It's like Hawaii's 5-7. Well, put them in the Hawaii Bowl.
Put them in there. Let's get some 9:30 p.m. college football rolling to wind down from some NBA.
Yeah,
call me old fashioned, and I'm not a huge basketball fan by any means. And for what fan I am, I prefer college over pro. But I just prefer, the NFL having Thanksgiving, college and high school having Black Friday, the NBA having Christmas, college football having New Year's and New Year's Day.
Yeah,
but
I mean, this year it's whatever. I mean, Christmas Eve, it being on all day is fine, but the fact that they are putting on 3 games on that Monday, it is kind of bothersome, more or less for me because I have to go to work on Christmas Day night.
That's my beef. Like I go to sleep like before primetime games start. Like I want to watch the national championship. I don't know who's in it, but I want to watch it. But I'm not going to burn a vacation day 8 days into the year for a game on a Monday at like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah,
I'm just going to fall asleep on my couch at 10:30 anyways.
I'm trying to burn a vacation day. I'm hoping it gets approved. I might call off anyway because I want to watch the freaking national championship game. They're already taking away I'm not going to be able to watch the second semifinal, so I'm going to have to listen to that on the radio, and then I'll probably record it. But at the same point, like this is the first year that you kind of get those 2 college football playoff teams that are very exciting. Like I think these 2 games have the capability of being very good semifinals, and we normally don't get that. Normally we see 2 blowouts every single year. We haven't seen this good of matchups before.
We're seeing Michigan, Bama, Texas, Washington?
Yes.
Yeah, those are, I mean, you can't really ask for much better games.
Yeah.
Something funny happening behind me. What do you...
No, you turned around and I did a little pose like of you. So
Sloan's farting. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not.
No, but good for her. But yeah, it's the first year that we're getting games I think are not going to end up in blowouts. Even though, the last time Notre Dame played Clemson, I didn't think Notre Dame would get blown out, and they did. But that's just me being a homer, I guess, because we always get blown out.
I still blame Dante Vaughn for that game.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Damn, they took that goal away. My parlay didn't hit. I celebrate too early. There's always offsides in soccer. It's so stupid.
Yeah, announcers are like, he was offsides. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like right there. Yeah, why does the blue line keep moving?
All the time. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that's really, it's the first time that Jacksonville State's able to play in that game. You know who the head coach of Jacksonville State is?
Mike Tomlin's son.
No, Rich Rodriguez. The old Michigan head coach.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there.
Going downhill fast.
Well, you started from the bottom, now we're here, and going down to the bottom.
Started from the bottom, made it to the top, and you fell back down?
Yeah, pretty much.
Rich Rodriguez. I think that sounds familiar for another reason, too. I think there might have been like a Burbank trustee with that name or something like that. But yeah, that was kind of a weird proverbial smack in the face. I was like, what the fuck is Rich Rodriguez? Jacksonville State, huh? Well, he's doing well.
Yeah, I mean, he's making them into something, so you can't really fault him for that. So yeah, you told us about your first game that you really like circled for tomorrow. What was the other one?
It was New Mexico State, Fresno State. I know you were talking about Jerry Kill, Fresno State. I had mentioned earlier talking about Michigan's schedule for next year. You know, sneaky 20 to 18 ranked team for 3 or 4 weeks.
New Mexico
playing
State.
in the New Mexico Bowl. They're away. I don't understand how they choose who's home or away for it, but
that doesn't really matter. I think that it's just to put on the correct jersey, I guess.
Regardless, I'm rolling with Jerry Kill and the boys.
Yeah, New Mexico State in this one, it's a big game for them. Another team that I think is going to try and show out. Main reason for that being is they're 10-4. This is going to be an opportunity for them to finally get to 11 wins. They played an extra game on their schedule because they played conference championship game and they played a week 0 game. But this is the the second time in school history that they could get 11 wins. So it's a big game for them. I mean, this was only the 4th time in school history they hit 10 wins even. So this is a big win for them. This is a big thing for Jerry Kill. We've mentioned it before. You know, he went through a lot. He was having a lot of health issues when he was the head coach at Minnesota. He had to resign because of those issues. And now he's having that opportunity to take over at New Mexico State, turn this program into something, which they have become something. They are a good football team. And now to top it off with a bowl win, that's just a cherry on top. So I really do hope that ends up happening tomorrow.
It's been not any specific conference, but it's just been a pretty solid year for Southwest teams.
Yeah.
Arizona really shocked everybody. UNLV really shocked everybody.
New
Mexico State, Fresno State, we knew were pretty good, but I mean, they kept doing what they were doing.
Going with that UNLV thing, you know, everybody makes a huge deal about what Deion Sanders was able to do at Colorado and get that team to 4 wins.
Yeah, nobody's batting a fucking eye about Las Vegas. Like, they were the worst of the worst last year.
Jeez.
Then they get fucking cream pied by Michigan and come back and what they finish like 10-2.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
yeah, that was a fantastic job. There were rumors about Notre Dame. Thank you, buddy. About Notre Dame grabbing their offensive coordinator when the Gerard Parker rumors were kind of whirling around, and I was getting my hopes up for it, but that all turned out to be bullshit. Okay, relax.
Sorry. I know you're not a big fan, but there's still a chance that he might not be back next season. You just got to give it time.
I can't do it.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy.
I am. This is old news, but I am very happy. Sorry, Jackson. I was very happy Al Golden turned down that Syracuse head job position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right.
That guy's a miracle worker. I love seeing those pictures of him with like this little fucking notepad. And he's like, he just held this team to this many points, or to USC to this many points on this little sheet. And DCs all around have these giant laminated fucking 18-inch by a foot long rectangle sheets they're holding.
I got you. What was I looking? I was just looking at something a few minutes ago, and I completely lost it. Oh well. You know, bigger games tomorrow that you might really kind of think of too. That in terms of bigger schools playing, and since it's the first day of the bowl season, you haven't really had that chance to really over analyze anything. But UCLA versus Boise State tomorrow, California versus Texas Tech. So you got the Big 12 versus the Pac-12 or whatever you want to call it now, and then
Pac-2.
Yeah, and I mean Cal's transferring to a conference too, so they're fine.
I thought Cal and Oregon State were the two homeless. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kel should probably just transfer to like the Mountain West anyway. Like when I think of Kel, it's just kind of like Kel Berkeley.
I think of smart people,
Smart people
Aaron
school.
Rodgers, Marshawn Lynch. That's it.
I think of the smart people school from the OC. That's where Seth Cohen's dad went. So
I didn't watch that, but if you go to my parents' house and start digging through old tote bins of shit, you'll probably find my sister's like the box set DVD, like each season.
I have all 4 of them, man. All 4
Do
seasons.
you?
Yeah.
Do you have One Tree Hill as well?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm on top of it. Don't worry. And then the other UCLA and Boise State kind of being the more interesting one to me, just to kind of see what kind of Boise State team we see in this game. Just because Boise State kind of having a down year for the most part and ending the season on a strong note.
UCLA is without a quarterback as well, right?
Was that another one who put themselves in the transfer portal?
I thought so. I could be wrong. I, honest to God, do not think of UCLA very much.
Yeah, I can't pick up on that right now. I've already lost that page for today with the amount of transfers of 1 billion people since I think when we talked about it last time, it was like, or it might have been me and Ross last week. There was like 1,200 something people on the first day in the transfer portal, which is why we keep saying this is really hard to talk about these football games.
Sit here for 4 hours talking about people we don't know. Like, yeah, well, he's transferring.
Yeah,
it's Dante Moore, and he is transferring.
Okay, so yeah, I actually, you know what?
Remember, I told you about his grandmother.
I saw it on the list, and I should have instantly knew it too. But yeah,
remember I told you or screenshotted that thing about his grandmother writing on like the UCLA like public Facebook page.
Oh yeah,
like Coach Chip Kelly did my grandson wrong.
yeah, I forgot all about that. Ridiculous. So with that wait yeah, BSU has already lost their quarterback too. So Taylor Green actually went and he's already committed to Arkansas. So there's an interesting move.
Kansas.
So they're actually going to be starting a true freshman tomorrow, CJ Tiller. And it looks like UCLA is missing a lot of good players as well. The little article that I just kind of saw this on says both teams will likely still be wearing pretty uniforms, though. So maybe not that interesting of a matchup. Yeah.
You would think that would probably have been one of the 2 of the bigger ones I was talking about, but that's a rather low one on my list.
Ross,
honestly, it's probably the lowest.
I just always
of
like
the 2 bigger ones are probably the lowest 2 on my list.
Ross actually just made a point like that I kind of reiterated to earlier that 133 programs and 106 quarterbacks in the portal. So you have to look at all these other quarterbacks that are transferring or that are already going to the NFL and not going to be playing into a bowl game. So you're losing all those guys in this bowl season. You're losing 106 quarterbacks, a lot of them likely starters, a couple of them not. More than
one of them, Kyle McCord.
Very important. So all these teams are losing all these starters right now, and you don't know what kind of quarterback play you're going to see. It's going to be a time to look at the defenses, and something that I am going to tell you from my betting aspect for this. I might just parlay them all as soon as we get off this podcast here. Unders. Nobody's scoring in these bowl games. These might be the shit of the shit bowl games of all time.
We have an Iowa tomorrow. Not an Iowa game, an Iowa Saturday.
Just unders. That's all we need. Or like, what was it? Boy Meets World, Corey Matthews. Underpants. But Yeah, that's it. Unders.
One interesting thing that I've kind of been seeing on the Twitter sphere today, while we're talking about quarterbacks, dipping to different schools and declaring for the draft, it's something kind of hard to talk about, and it's fairly hard to track it because it's, mainly personnel tweeting it out or doing whatever they're doing. A lot of quarterbacks who opt in early are going to be reporting for school. At the new year. Like CJ Carr went to Notre Dame yesterday, I think. Got settled in. But so that's going to be happening soon. Like I said, it's nothing we could really report on because unless you follow a shit ton of high schoolers on Twitter, you're not really going to know when they take off. But like this was from a tweet on his mom's account that I saw him walking away in a backpack. So that is something, obviously nothing new. It happens every year with these guys who come in. A lot of them opt to start in January, get ready for spring football, blue and gold game for Notre Dame specifically. But so with all those leaving,
our first chance to see him.
I'm sorry.
Our first chance to see him.
Right. So that is one positive to look forward to in the midst of 106 out of 133 quarterbacks in the portal.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to be entertaining football in any way, but
it's football. We're going to watch it.
Like I said earlier, it's not the same game that we used to watch when we were younger. The reason why we kind of fell in love with college football in the bowl season and all that, it's the transfer portal has changed everything. And with the transfer portal changing everything the way that it has, you kind of just roll with the punches and you maybe watch 5 to 6 meaningful bowl games. You watch some games that are going to be big for a lot of these teams. And then you watch a lot of bad football. And that's what we're used to doing all the time as the American society. So whatever. I do it every Sunday.
Chicagoans.
Throughout the week, there's up until our next show. The only other game to kind of look at would be I like UTSA versus Marshall. That's an interesting.
Yeah, so Monday, Western Kentucky, Old Dominion in the famous Toastery Bowl. Hard to care about. UTSA, Marshall in the Frisco Bowl. South Florida, Syracuse at the Boca Raton Bowl.
I like the UTSA Marshall game. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Marshall was a superior offense and defense last season. They were really good, and this year they have taken kind of a back step, fell to 6-6. But UTSA, normally very dominant at home. They lost quite a few games this year. Not the same team at home in general, and they normally don't lose in the dome, as my cousin said earlier in the year, and they did lose in the dome and lost me money, sons of bitches. But the Roadrunners are both teams are kind of going through it, and it looks like UTSA is going to be a little bit stronger in the depth chart for this one, something to look at when you're going through this game. So I think UTSA is an interesting watch in general. So that might be something that's entertaining, but I'll be at work, so
you'll listen to it.
We'll see, man. If the Bulls or the Blackhawks are on, I always listen to the Bulls or the Blackhawks. Blackhawks got turned off after the second period last night, though. I couldn't listen to that anymore.
I think the last time I listened to a Bulls game, the announcer was probably like saying names like Tyson Chandler and Kirk Heinrich.
I actually enjoy listening to the Bulls because I normally put in like some sort of same game parlay, and it keeps it entertaining.
You kind of like, oh, did he get? Yep, assist, nice.
Like Chuck Swirsky, will sit there and be like, Kobe White, 3, boom, or whatever the fuck he says, and I'm just like, yeah, let's go. And
who are the radio guys for the Bulls? Is it
Bill Weddington, Chuck Swirsky?
Who's the other one?
Bill Weddington.
Is King and Amin still the TV guys?
Yep.
They got some good announcers.
Yeah, they do.
So can you hear the squeaks over the radio, like the shoes?
Yeah.
Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Might tune into a Bulls game. I always just found that so funny. One time, I don't remember who I was talking to, but you know how like there's like stenographers and shit for, you know, whatever, any legal hearing or something.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if it's everything or if it's just like whoever is supposed to be speaking at that point. And then somebody else hopped in the conversation. They were like, what if it was like a basketball game? Would they have to put the squeaks in there? And then it just kind of went off the rails after that. So that thought's just kind of always in the back of my head. That's one of the things that just live rent free in my head.
All I could think of right now is Homer Simpson's when they like ask him what's going on in his brain, and there's the monkey, and it's just like clapping together.
The I have 3 kids and no money. I wish I had 3 money and no kids. That's one that plays in my mind a lot.
Yeah. I wish I had 3 money and no kids. Oh, wait.
You just have no money and no kids.
Yeah, you're correct. Come on, man.
Fuck. All right, so enough football. What's your 5 favorite Christmas songs?
5 favorite Christmas songs.
I gave you like 2 weeks advance. You knew this question was coming.
I did not know this question was coming. I'd be much better at 5 favorite Christmas movies. Like, I could do 5 favorite Christmas songs next Friday.
Run it.
Because I mean, I could literally just go grab my records. I just can't think of that right now. So
the gut. I already had our little Twitter beef going on. She tried saying "Baby, It's Cold Outside" was better than Christmas by Darlene Love, and I was like, "Get the fuck out!"
Oh my god, doesn't she know we're not allowed to talk about that song anymore?
That's what she said. She's like, "You just had to go and get canceled," and I was like, "Go walk into Kmart; it'll still play on the radio." I haven't changed that loop since like '98. It's fine.
Where the fuck is there a Kmart?
On Ridgeland, there was a Kmart. You could still kind of see like the shadow that the giant.
Are we both former Kmart workers?
Yeah, we are. Different
Kmarts, but there you go. We put them out of business. Yeah. So top 5 favorite Christmas movies. I have to. I know what number 1 is. I just
realized that Fat Zach threw in the comments like 20 minutes ago. Old Tubby Rodriguez.
Yeah,
I missed that one, Zach. Well done.
Me and Dom actually talked about our favorite Christmas movies earlier today, or this morning, whatever you want to call it. It was like
last night.
It was a midnight lunch talk, randomly. So yeah, I've already told you this, and it's actually something. It's Ron.
I know you're number 1.
Yeah, so it's Ron's favorite too. It's White Christmas. It's a classic. I like musicals. I'm a big Grease guy too, so it's whatever. Like, I think musicals are tight. You know, Chris loves Hamilton. I
saw that shit downtown last weekend.
I saw. That's awesome.
Pretty awesome. I was very surprised. I kind of went in there. This was my first like theater experience. Like, I've seen stuff at like Drury Lane before with my family, but like my first like legit theater experience. And all I kept thinking about was like, I know the tempo, I know the words. Like, they're gonna say something off, and I'm just gonna fucking hate it. And then like the guy who played Lafayette, like, he had like the super thick fake French accent, and I'm like, this is awful. And then he turned into Jefferson, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yep, absolutely. Man, dude, like picking an actual number 2 is very, very hard.
You're still only on one.
No, yeah, I mean it's Christmas, A Christmas Story. Christmas Story is my second favorite. I would say Home Alone is my third favorite. Surviving Christmas, that's my fourth favorite.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Not a lot of people have. I already watched it. Me and Nikki watched last Sunday. And then, man, dude, just to put one in there that's like number 5. Like Zach said, 8 Crazy Nights in the comments, and I'm like, yeah, I already watched that one twice this year.
Me too. I didn't feel like watching fucking cartoons when Bailey was working nights last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? He'll like this. It's animated, so
Yeah.
I threw it on the TV, and he just sat on the couch and watched it with me.
That's an awesome idea. I honestly didn't get to watch. Me and Nikki haven't been able to watch White Christmas yet, just because we haven't had time. I've been watching everything alone, so I haven't wanted to watch certain things she wants to watch with me. As much as I love White Christmas, it's a long freaking movie.
Yeah.
So, man, number 5 is a tough choice. I don't want to say 8 Crazy Nights.
Well, I'll run through mine really fast. I'll give you a little bit of time to think.
For it. Go for it.
Scrooged with Bill Murray. I told you this before already. I love that movie. I can watch it in July. I don't give a shit. 2 is probably very basic, but I'm probably going to have to go with Christmas Vacation.
There you go. That's my number 5.
Okay. Number 3 is 8 Crazy Nights. I fucking love 8 Crazy Nights.
I do too.
Number 4, I don't even have Home Alone on my list, to be honest. I like it. It's a funny movie. I'll watch it once this year.
That's what it is for me.
Number 4 is Elf. And number 5 is probably Jingle All the Way.
See, that was Dom's favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, Arnold and Sinbad. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think there's a sequel with like Larry the Cable Guy or some shit. I'm not watching that, but I like the cover art for it. It's pretty funny.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and Nikki and I just talked about, because Nikki's never seen it. I'm like, dang, that'd be one that's good to see. But
you're talking about Jingle All the Way?
Yeah, me and Nikki just literally like we're not going to be home at all to watch Christmas movies through Christmas, pretty much. So it's just like,
I leave all my decorations and shit up until New Year's.
We're gonna have to like watch movies the week after and stuff, because with me working this Sunday, and then I'm pretty much like Friday's always booked up for me, obviously. This Saturday, tomorrow we're going to a concert. The following weekend it's bowling, and then either Saturday or Sunday going out to my mom's, going to Nikki's parents on Christmas Day. Then I'm going to work. It's just
yeah, a lot of shit. Busy time of the year. But like Jingle All the Way, like that one part where Sinbad's like, "This is a bomb," and then like it explodes, and he's like, "That was really a bomb. There's some sick people out there."
Yeah.
Just kills me every time. Blasphemy, Chris. I'm sorry, Zach. It's a good movie.
As a kid, I watched that movie all the time, dude, all the time.
Yeah, that was the dad, the neighbor, the guy who was Troy McClure and other things on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I just learned, pretty dark here. I just learned that his wife killed him. This was many, many years ago, but I was like, I had heard of an SNL actor that had happened to, but I never knew his name, or I knew his name. I never was able to put a face to it, though. And I was watching the movie with my parents and Bailey like the year before we moved out, or a couple of years before. And my dad told me, I was like, that's the guy? That's some sad shit.
Dude. So kind of going on that, last night I started a podcast at work. It's from another show that I listen to. She's the producer of this show. It's called Counterclock. And it kind of tells the story of a murder that happened that's unsolved, and this person, they literally go through and like interview every freaking person that's been involved in this thing, and it's the most interesting shit. There's 5 seasons of it, and the first season is 13 episodes long. I'm on episode 12 with like 8 minutes left in it. I can't wait to get in my car to go to bowling just to listen to the rest of this podcast, because I literally, like, kid you not, when she ended episode 11, going in, and like this was the first time I felt this way. Like it was an interesting story. I was very intrigued. But when she ended episode 11, I got, with like 5 words, I got full body chills. I was freaking out. I was kind of like, oh my God, dude. Like I can't.
These are all true stories.
It's one whole, this is one whole story.
One season is the same story.
Yeah. And it's a true story. And yeah, it's.
See, I would love to like listen to stuff like that. Like that shit interests me. But I used to be a huge podcast guy when I could listen to podcasts at work.
Yeah.
But my commute is like 18 minutes. And I can't just sit at home and listen to a podcast. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I get you. Well, if you do get back into it, this one's called Counterparts, but the one that I would suggest listening, like, because I've listened to every single episode already, that they've posted, and they've been posting an episode every week since 2017. That's how much hours I spend at work listening to this stuff. So,
does she post it in like the form of a story, or does she like walk you through it like a documentary?
Well, like the one that I was going to suggest to listen to, that I listen to all the time, is Crime Junkies, and she does it in terms of like a story. Well, it's 2 girls. They do it in terms of like a form of a story, and then this other one that I'm listening to, it's more of like, it's a story, but she's actually she's finding all the people that are involved in the story and interviewing them herself. And you're listening to the interviews that she's having with the people that were involved or suspected or close to the person who died in it. So both very interesting. But Crime Junkies, it's just like an episode by episode basis. Like you can listen to, there's literally 20-minute episodes. So there's hour-long episodes, but there's 2-part episodes, but
just depends.
Yeah, and it's all true stories. Some of them solved, some of them not. Some of them solved because of the work that they're doing. Crime Junkies has solved.
Really?
So Crime Junkies has solved a lot of cases because they have millions and millions of followers on their podcast. So everyone hit the subscribe button so that we can get to millions and millions of podcasts.
Do you guys not want us to solve crimes? That's actually really cool. Like I've read about stuff, like I'm a big Reddit guy, and I've like read stuff like Reddit has solved murders before and saved lives before, and I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But like absolutely. Actively like doing this more than once.
Yeah.
Through a podcast, like that's meta as shit. Like new cops are just podcasters.
I agree.
Oh fuck. But I guess that should wrap it up for today's edition of College Football on Tap. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. We'll sit there and look out and be on Twitter this whole weekend with the college football games that happen tomorrow. I think there's 7 of them total. So if anything interesting happens, we'll be on top of it. Transfer portal will be looking at. Otherwise, we'll probably be back next Friday with another episode. You know, season's winding down. Not as much to talk about it at this time besides what's going on in the transfer portal. So as and more names make their songs. Yeah, as long as more teams. 5 Christmas songs. 5 Christmas songs next week to end the episode. So I'll be prepared. And then, yeah, we'll talk about the transfer portal. And a lot more bowl games are coming up that we could get a little bit more in depth about, which will make it a lot more fun as we get through the sophomores and freshmen playing it out. So,
yeah, next week's 22nd. And I think like that Thursday would be like the 27th. I think that starts like the really like intriguing bowl games. So yeah, we're getting there. Episodes, like Bruno said, obviously we're going to try and continue this as long as we can, but they're going to get a little more sporadic. So make sure you stay
We're gonna
in
have to
tune with the
get
YouTube page, follow the Twitter. We'll try and update you as we go. Hopefully my kids will be sleeping next week like they're supposed to be right now. But yeah, this has been College Football on Tap, brought to you by the On Tap Sports Net. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend, friends.